Hey, so I've had an incredible week this week. So lots of great things have happened. I just finished up working huge amounts of overtime. I've been working 50, 60-hour weeks for about the last month now, and that is basically done with. I received my first paycheck from all that work today, and it was significantly larger than I was expecting, which is always great news. And so it means I've come very, very close to paying off one of my debts. And I can really start saving now. By next paycheck, I can totally start saving. And so that's just the beginning of it. Last week, I think I mentioned at the end of my video, I had an interview. So I had applied for this job at Redfin, actually. It's actually as a real estate broker, because there are positions in the company after you've been a real estate broker for a little while that you can move up to that are remote work. So I was thinking, yeah, this is a great opportunity. It's a decent fit. I went through the interview process. They seemed to like me. I like them. It all actually went really well. I haven't actually heard back from them. I probably won't for a couple weeks, and we'll see what happens, but I may not actually end up taking it. And here's why. Those are great news that happened in the last week. Is I drove my bus to work because I had just picked it up from the mechanic and I didn't have time to switch vehicles. It's a long drive. It's been about 50 miles each way driving to work from where I've been staying. And it's okay in the car. I still make plenty of money doing that. In the bus, I would be losing money for sure. It just uses too much fuel. Although it is getting better fuel mileage now, so that's awesome. Anyways, though, I took the bus into work. As I'm sure a lot of you know, I'm a delivery driver. I drive Amazon vans for a living. It was supposed to just be a temporary job, but I keep getting raises and they keep doing things to keep me to stay. And they did it again, and this one is actually really good. So when they saw my bus, the owners and one of the dispatchers came over and was like, "Wow, this thing is really awesome." And they were asking me, this where you've been living, because I think I mentioned to them that I was staying at campgrounds in a school bus before. And so they were looking at it going, "Wow, this thing's really cool. Do you want to just park it here during the week? And then you don't have to do any commuting. You don't have to worry about any of that." And I was like, yeah, actually, that might be a good idea. Wanted to make sure that it was actually a secure location, and that the parking lot I was in would actually allow me to stay there. They said, "Oh yeah, we have security guards. It's just fine. I know you have window coverings and everything, so they probably won't even know you're in there, but it's a secure parking lot. Don't worry about it. Just come in during the week and you won't have to worry about parking anymore." So the thing is, I don't think they quite understand how big of a deal that is for me. I've been spending somewhere between about $120 and $200 a month on campgrounds. And so obviously that's a lot of money that I basically don't need to pay anymore. I can stay at work during the work week and I can just go to free campgrounds on the weekend. No big deal. Commuting. So even with my car, I was spending just about $10 to $15 a day on fuel. And that number obviously has been increasing as fuel prices have become increasingly extreme. So that's another, I think I was spending about $120 a month in fuel just for commuting. So, that's something like $400 a month total, $350, $400. But that has other implications as well, because if I'm staying in my school bus the entire time, what am I using my car for? And the answer is nothing. And that means I can get rid of this car finally. The car is costing me about $280 a month in car payments. Not a good loan. And then it's been averaging, I think, about $100 a month in maintenance, something like that. It really varies a lot with this car. So last time I checked, I think I was averaging about $500 a month to just keep my car operational. That's not including fuel. So that's been one of my big motivating factors. Is I just really need to get rid of this car. Even if I had to buy a different one, that would be fine. This car is just super expensive, and it's not even that great of a car. If I don't need the car, I think by next month I should have enough money to sell it. And you might be thinking that's kind of a strange thing to say, but I am underwater on my loan, of course, as well. And so it's actually going to cost me money to sell this car. Fortunately, it's gone up in value something like 25-30% in the last 6 months. Just used car prices are going through the roof, so I really need to take advantage of that as soon as possible. And the fun doesn't stop there. The storage unit I'm in right now is costing me close to $300 a month, although I'm splitting that with my dad, so I'm not paying the entire $300 a month. But that's because the front half of the storage unit I'm using to store one vehicle or the other. If I only have one vehicle, I don't need this big of a storage unit, and I can go down to a storage unit exactly half the size, which costs generally even less than half the cost. So I can probably find a storage unit for like $150, $200 a month to store all the stuff that's here. And granted, I'm not going to be paying all of that, but still, it's going to save me close to half the cost of the storage unit. So in total, by them allowing me to stay in the parking lot at work while I'm working, I can save myself close to $1,000 a month. Now it's going to take me a couple of months to get to that point where I'm actually saving all of that $1,000 a month. But yeah, that's like getting a giant raise. The last real benefit for staying at work is just time. I've been spending like 2 hours a day commuting, at least. And if I get that 2 hours a day down to 0, which is basically what I was doing at the end of last week, that's a huge amount of time that I can devote to doing other things and working on businesses and just whatever I want, really. And on top of that, I get to keep my 3-day weekend. So overall, this is just fantastic use of my time. It's a much better use of my money. So I couldn't be happier with this situation, actually. So in case you're wondering if there's any potential downsides to this, yes, there's several. So the position I applied for as a real estate broker probably isn't going to work, actually, if I get rid of my car. I don't know that for sure, but I don't even know if I got the job anyways. But I will talk to them about that if that's the case. Because the fact is, I might actually end up, my net income might actually be higher just staying on at my current job than if I was working as, say, a real estate broker. So there are a couple of downsides. I will have to get some solar so I can actually run my fridge 24/7. Right now I'm having to go to the grocery store basically every day because in this warm weather, my battery doesn't have the capacity to keep my refrigerator running, and I don't really want to be running the generator in the parking lot. I probably could, but I just don't want to. So solar is definitely on the table, so that's going to be a couple $100, looks like, just to keep my refrigerator running. I don't really need any power for anything else, so that's it for that. And the other potential downside in the future is actually getting repairs done on my school bus. That's going to mean renting a car. It's probably going to mean renting like an Airbnb or something that I'm gonna have to stay in while the repairs are being done. So repairs could get more expensive if I can't find someplace that's a little bit faster than the mechanics I've been using. So fortunately, I'm not really gonna have to worry about that anytime soon because I just did a bunch of repairs on the school bus. It shouldn't need anything for a while, and I'm not gonna be putting a ton of miles on it. It's actually gonna be like far fewer miles now that I'm able to park at work. So I kind of wish I'd talked to them about this sooner, and I would have been able to save just tons of money. So yeah, it's just awesome news all around. It's not necessarily the remote work that I was looking for, because if I had just found remote work, you know, I could just hit the road right now. But this actually gives me the opportunity to build something that I really want to do and a job that I really want to stick with, and I'll be happy with longer term. So I really can't complain. Well, that's it for me today. I'll come out with some more videos here pretty soon. Hopefully the quality should be improving now that I have a little bit more time to edit and a little bit more time to film, hopefully. And I will see you on the next video.